All right, this is it, guys. Lake Havasu on Christmas Day. It's actually surprisingly quiet. I don't know why, but somehow I was expecting things to be open. That would be wrong. I just don't want to say the whole thing. But it's absolutely beautiful. And it's been a very pleasant walk coming down here. Nothing like palm trees on Christmas. That's what I'm saying.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus. Right down the Colorado River. Merry Christmas! What a beautiful day. And there it is, the London Bridge. Now, was that the one that was falling down, or is this the one after the one that was falling down? I think this is the one that was falling down.
This one was the one falling down.
Yeah. Yeah, so now they disassembled it bit by bit, transported it across the ocean. Each of the blocks is numbered so that they could be reassembled in the correct order. And now you know the rest of the story.
The next day.
Well, I may have done a thing. If you saw my Christmas Eve video, you saw that I got both a WWII and a bread maker, and I couldn't stop myself last night. I made my first loaf of bread. This is a loaf of rye bread, and you can see it's kind of concave in the middle here. I think the most likely reason for that is that it had too much yeast. So we're going to slice into this and find out together how we did. I guess we got to slice all the way through it, huh? Smells awesome. I'm going to say it's slightly underbaked. Not the worst thing in the world, since I'll be making toast out of it. But not bad for a first effort, I think. So apparently, using a bread maker is kind of completely different from making homemade bread from scratch, which I have done plenty of previously. Trying not to cut through my parchment paper here because I want to be able to wrap it up. And the key is to keep it from drying out and getting overly dry. And yeah, it's a little sticky, but I think it'll be fine for toast. Let's just break off a corner. The smell is amazing. And I like the taste. I think it'll be fine as toast. I'll keep practicing, and you'll find out how we do. Okay, we are saying good night. Good night. We're saying goodbye to another relatively lovely night at the Blue Water Casino. I think Barb's already left, actually. Next stop, Walmart. So let's talk about Christmas buffet here from my perspective. From my perspective, it was pretty disappointing. Not the worst thing in the world. And it's probably just me. Everybody else said they thought it was great. First of all, I didn't think the overall quality preparation of the food was all that great. But and again, this is me, guys, and I'm really picky. And I know and understand that. But what I found, first of all, let's back up. What I expect for a typical Christmas dinner in my world, in my family growing up, and this is what I've always done, basically mimics Thanksgiving, because I love So, no turkey. Yeah, I get it. Not that big a deal. I wouldn't necessarily have expected it anyway. But there were several Mexican-oriented dishes on the buffet near the beginning, including tamales. Probably would have been okay, but I don't know that for sure. I'm allergic to cilantro, which actually makes this story even funnier as far as I'm concerned. We'll see if I can get through it before I get parked at Walmart. So I passed up all the Mexican food. So that was like the first half of the buffet. First thing I came to that I was confident I could eat without, you know, causing myself a severe allergic reaction was baked salmon. Not my favorite thing ever, but it's like, fine, let's get a piece of salmon. And then the next thing was the prime rib, which was very, very, very rare. And I understand most people like it that way. And of course, so I got a piece cut off the other end, and that ended up being really much more well done than I would have preferred. So there was no happy medium, so to speak, in there. Whatever, it's a buffet, I get it. I'm not terribly upset about that. But I'm now halfway through the buffet and I've got 2 pieces of protein on my plate and nothing else. So the next thing they had was finally get to some vegetables. Well, they had scalloped potatoes with cheese. Alright, fine, so I took a few of those. And then the only vegetable they had that was not drowned in cheese was asparagus, and that's great. I love asparagus. I thought it was overcooked. I might have been on my own there. Barb and others seemed to think that it was cooked just right. To me, it was overcooked. But I don't like to see anything but bright green color on my asparagus, and it was, you know, that starting to turn color. So we got through that. The next thing was, broccoli in some creamy, cheesy, heavy sauce. But so far I don't have much of anything on my plate, so I got some of that. And that was basically what was on my plate. I went back for a second plate. I decided to go get a salad, so I got a small salad. And I ladled on what I thought was like a French dressing. And instead it turned out to be salsa with cilantro in it. How about that? Where's pickup here? Right there. Okay. So we've picked up our order, and just to finish up the unexpected cilantro story, that actually turned out better than I might have hoped for, because I did not have an allergic reaction. I mean, yeah, the taste is so distinctive. I took a bite of the salad and realized what I had done, and all I had to do was drink a whole lot of water, and then it was fine. So that was cool. All right, we're going to go ahead and go in and do our real Walmart shopping now. All right, well, we are now done with Safeway. I think I'll have to add it up, and I think altogether I spent about $200. And between Walmart and Safeway. And what that tells me is that grocery prices really have gone up quite a bit. Okay. So our next stop is going to be to get propane. Oh, there goes Barb. Thank you. I guess she decided she didn't have to go to Safeway. So we're going to get propane, and then I think, it's only 10 o'clock, I think we're going to go drive over to Bouse, maybe. Just so we can see something different today. It's definitely a detour. and I don't really expect much to be open, but there is a museum there. I don't think it's going to be open though, but we'll see, since it's the day after Christmas. It's not too much of a detour, so doesn't seem like a bad idea to go ahead and drive through, because I've never been there. Alright, well, we got propane. Oh, but I forgot to turn my fridge back on, so I guess I'm going to pull over and do that momentarily. So I make this turn. And I've got to make this turn and go around the block because Google couldn't make up its mind. Go figure. Alright, so we're going to get this done, get the refrigerator turned back on, and then I'll tell you what we're doing. I don't understand why on earth Kid is being so barky. We walked around, he showed no signs of doing the thing that he said he needed to do. So we are back on the road. We're going to be back on US 95 South in a little bit. We got 26 miles, 27 minutes to our destination, which is going to be the Bouse Museum. Because it is open until 2 o'clock today, according to Google, unless they're closed following the holiday and just didn't bother to update Google, which is entirely possible. So if we get there and they're not open, I'm not going to be terribly disappointed. What we are going to do when we get there, though, I think, is make breakfast. I'm not sure how well this is going to show up in the camera, but hopefully you can see just how green everything is. There's a lot of green growth on the desert floor. And this is all the result of the rain that we had in the previous couple of days. It doesn't take long to turn the desert green. There's a lot more life lurking just below the surface than most people realize. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if when we get out and start walking around, we see a lot of little micro flowers all over the ground. We'll see. So this is where we deviate. Normally we would turn right at this traffic light to go back south to Quartzsite, but we're going to go straight. Oh, actually, I guess you can get to Phoenix this way. Ha! We're not going to Phoenix. And we're only 14 miles from Bouse, so cool. Part of the reason I decided to do this today is that although it's a detour, it's not a huge detour. So it seemed like it would be a good opportunity to go see something new. Interesting. US 95 is still called Central Avenue all the way up here from Quartzsite. 14 miles to Bouse, 145 to Phoenix. I kind of do everything I can to avoid Phoenix at this point. The traffic there has become just horrendous. And so far, I haven't needed to be there for anything. Free range cattle, next 20 miles. Look at how much more vegetation there is here after we passed the turnoff for 95. That's kind of interesting. Welcome to historic Bouse. We passed a big RV park just before I saw the sign that said Welcome to Bouse. Quite large, actually. But I swear I just saw a bunch of people just parked off in the desert here as well. And I think the history in Bouse has something to do with World War II. And I think we're going to be able to get some of the history, even if the museum is not open. Because I think there are some outdoor displays that may also be accessible. Entering Bouse. And it's funny, the road was pretty horrible like that most of the way over here. And then it just changed. back to bad, and then back to good, and back to bad. So I guess it's just that. Just for fun RV park. Okay. Another RV park over on the other side of the tracks there. We're going to be making a left-hand turn on Main Street. Coming up here. Right about here. Stop. Stop. So this is called Broadway that we've been on. Oh, okay, so it's Main Street to the left and Plamosa Road to the right. And Plamosa Road is how we're going to be returning. I think we're going to be stopping over here at this little Veterans Park to check it out. Oh, and that's pretty cool looking. But we're going to just go down here to the museum first and see if it's actually open or not. And I think that's an open sign I see right there. So I'm going to say it's open. And I think we're going to pull up right here in front of the museum. Well, this was a lovely place to stop and have breakfast. We are at the Bouse Museum, which is run by the Chamber of Commerce, apparently. And I'm guessing that the theme of Bouse is mining and military. And did you know that you can legally ride ATVs on the street in Arizona? They can be licensed for street use. And also interesting is that if they're licensed for street use in Arizona or some whatever state that's legal to do that, apparently you can also drive them on the road in other states, even if it's not legal to get an ATV, a UTV license that way. Hope that made sense. So here we've got the Miner's Shack, which came to Bouse from the Swansea mine area. Swansea, isn't that down in the Owens Valley, I think? It was first a home and then a workshop. The supply wagon over here took supplies from Bouse to the Planet Ranch. And Bouse was the main supply hub for the Swansea mine. I guess that was not down in the Owens Valley then. And the Planet Ranch. The Swansea Railroad was eventually built connecting Bouse and the mine. Don't mind the way I talk about mines. The fire hose cart here, circa 1899. The wheelbarrow, no year on that. The drag line ore bucket, I guess that's what that is, maybe. Used at a local mine in the 1900s. Nice little display. The bull wheel back there is from the Fort Worth Well Machine and Supply Company. We've seen those before in other places, I think. This is not a public highway. It's the property of the something company that I can't read. There's an ore cart. And here we've got a ball mill system for crushing ore. So starting on the left, we've got the pulley drum. And then we've got the drive belt for turning the ball drum transmission forward from 1946 to 1948. And then the ball drum on this end with steel balls inside that crushed ore as the drum turned. So kind of like rock tumbling, only instead of polishing the rocks, I guess you're trying to destroy them and crush them. So that's kind of cool. And I guess we got some kind of little Alaska hotel. In the day, Bouse had several hotels and a boarding house. The foundation remains of the two-story Alaska hotel. The front doors face the corner of Main Street and Santa Fe Avenue. So this is Main Street. That's Santa Fe Avenue. And you can see over there where the corner is. So that's really quite cool. All right, I say we go inside and take a look. What say you? So this is all mining history. And then we can see there's a little itsy bitsy baby tank here from Camp Bouse. This claims to be a Sherman tank, but it seems pretty small to me. I'm gonna guess that's a one-seater. That's what I'm thinking. This was the Bouse Assay Office, or Assay, I never know which way to say that. Built around 1902. Purchased in 1990 by members of the Bouse Chamber of Commerce. Originally housed the Bouse Townsite Land and Improvement Company. By 1909, it was the office of the assayer. Cool. Very, very cool. All stone building. We got a turret over here. Howdy. And then we got some, I think that's a transport carrier and a trailer over there. Let's go take a look inside. All right, so the museum was definitely worth seeing, I think. Apparently there's not a whole lot else to do here in Bouse. There's the,
turn left onto Short Street.
I think he said they call it Monument Row,
Santa Fe Avenue.
which was down by where we came in. And that's some more World War II display stuff. And of course the whole World War II thing, very, very cool. Oh, a couple of different houses available
Turn
for
left
sale
onto Santa
here.
Fe Avenue. Then you'll take your first right onto Main Street.
Yeah, let's just pause here a minute. I'm just curious what that might be going for. It looks like the average sale price is going to be roughly $120,000 to $360,000, and raw land going at about 20 grand, which frankly to me seems pretty high for this area. But I'll tell you what a good deal might be for somebody. The museum is run by the Chamber of Commerce, but they hire a camp host. So you sign up for a 6-month stint, and you get paid by getting a site that includes a washer and dryer, a refrigerator and a freezer, paved concrete full hookup site, and you work 20 hours a week. Not a bad gig. It's one that I would potentially consider at some point. Well, this is interesting. There's a real estate sign for Tim Hutala, who says he's the only local real estate agent, but there's Betty Hunter Realty right across the street from us. So
Go past Stone Avenue and take a slight right to stay on Formosa Road.
that could have a really narrow description. Bouse Community Park, 1 mile ahead. All right, well, let's take a look at that.
Take a slight right to stay on Formosa Road.
There's the Bouse Booster Club. And is it Bouse or Bouse? I'm not sure. Public library. Bouse Camp is about 23 miles outside of town, and you need 4-wheel drive or, you know, a side-by-side or something like that to get to it. So I will most likely not be taking you to see that, but I am going to do some investigation to see if there are others of the desert training camps that we might be able to get to. I think that would be pretty cool. We have been to the site of Pilot Knob, and in fact, because we have stayed there a number of times. That's off the Sidewinder Road in California. Bouse house site. Huh. So there might be a couple of things to come back and check out here at a future date. I'm glad I stopped in at the museum this afternoon. I certainly enjoyed my breakfast there, well, cooking my breakfast there. Wonder where La Posa Road goes. We're on Plomosa Road. Oh, and here's the Bouse Community Park coming up. Which looks like it's full of campers. And it looks like they have hookups. Interesting. Refuse transfer station to the right. Huh. I had no idea. So one of the things I kind of like to check out, and I've got it, why are we in kilometers? My Google Maps is now displaying in kilometers. Oh, that's bizarre. See if I can fix that. Well, hopefully you can see some of the greenery along here. It's very green. This is also very much a flooding prone area. All these little dipsy-doos. So I was not able to get my Google off of kilometers. Maybe I'll just learn how to think in kilometers now. We did pass a beyond 14-day area 3 or 4 miles back, virtually empty. I mean, there's a few people out here, but not that many. I might come out here. There's the Lazy Dazer. Hey, Lazy Dazer. I wonder if they were still telling people to do that before they went out of business. So if you bought a Lazy Days RV, it came equipped with a CB radio. And they said that you should keep it on all the time and keep it tuned to whatever channel it was, I can't remember. And that if you saw another Lazy Days going down the ride, you key your mic and say, "Hey, Lazy Dazer." We did do it a time or two. Okay, so this is Fisherman's Intaglio. I don't think we have to walk real far to see it, so I think we will. Let's see what this says. Look at this beautiful landscape. Even though it's pretty super cloudy today, we're here to check out the Bouse Fisherman Intaglio. So, you saw where we parked down there. We just came up a fairly steep hill. Now we're going down one, so I'm looking where I'm going because this is a lot of loose rock. And then we're going up another one. So what's an intaglio? Well, they were made by Native American people here, and coincidentally, similar kinds of displays were made by a Peruvian Indian tribe with completely different beliefs. So it's always interesting to me how there's a crossover in vastly different geographical areas where the people are unlikely to have ever have come in contact with each other to be able to share that kind of knowledge, so more likely sprang up spontaneously. Anyway, what is an intaglio? Basically it's art that is formed by removing the darker colored desert rocks and then digging the design out of the lighter colored desert soil. So we've been to the Blythe intaglios before, and I didn't realize from that experience that there were more intaglios around the area, and apparently there are not just this one and the Blythe intaglios, but others as well. So this one is a fisherman, and we're going to see how well we can see it. I have a feeling the best way to see it is from a drone, but I didn't bring the drone up here with me. So we'll be seeing it from the ground. A cultural resource, no vandalism. So here's a representation of what it's supposed to look like. We're going to go see if we can find it. All right, so here we go. That's a fish right in front of us. And there's another one right over there. The body of the fisherman is up above. The thing to the right is a triangle that somebody inappropriately went in and added. So the Bouse Fisherman, the intaglio or geoglyph before you tells an important story. Native Americans of the Colorado River region have oral traditions which are handed down through generations. This geoglyph may tell the mythological story of a god, Kumastamo, who thrust a spear into the ground to make the mighty Colorado River flow. Earth figures such as these are rare and fragile, and we ask that respect and care be taken to preserve a part of the cultural heritage common to all people. Yeah, so somebody couldn't leave well enough alone. We're going to walk over this way. So you can see the body of the fisherman over there. And then look, somebody had to cross the cable and go in and make whatever that is. It's supposed to be an arrowhead, who knows? But it doesn't belong there and it's inappropriate. Speaking of doesn't belong there, Kit Kit. He's staying outside the fence though. Come on, Kit. Come, come. Come, come. Look at that little boy. Look at him comes. What a good boy. What a good boy. So what's interesting about this one to me, much smaller than the Blythe intaglios that I've seen before, which you really could not get the gist of the entire thing from the ground. This is a much, much smaller, I want to say installation, but that's not quite the right word, but a much smaller piece than those were. You can see the bright cacti way over on the other side, and the sign, which is on the other side of this layout. So yeah, very much smaller than other ones. I hear ATVs. All right, a little bit further walk than I thought it was going to be. Not bad. I mean, it wasn't a big walk by any stretch of the imagination. It was a nice little leg stretch opportunity. So we're going to observe here another minute or two, and then we're going to head back and finish our trek back to town. I will say all the cactus and the shrubbery and everything looks so nice and clean and green after all the rain we've had the last few days. Very pretty. So all in all, I'm very happy that I decided to take the road even less traveled and not return directly to Quartzsite from Parker, because I've been having a fun little adventure today. I hope you have been too. And I think I found where I'm going to go camp next. Back toward Bouse. Well, that was fun. And I want to get out of here without going over too big a dip. So we're going to come up this way and come all the way over here.
In 800 meters, keep left at the fork.
Did it just do it again? Okay, no, now it says miles on the display. Yeah, that was so weird. I don't know why Google Maps did that, but when we left Bouse, it just automatically switched from miles to meters. And it took my speedometer display away on Google Maps. And I had to look up how to get that back. So we seem to be okay now. Anyway, so that was the Bouse Fisherman Intaglio. The parking area you saw was big and plenty of room to park there, no matter what size rig you got. And then from there we did probably, I don't know, a quarter, third of a mile to get to the Intaglio, which surprisingly to me was much smaller than the ones in Blythe as I remember them. Oh, let's keep left as opposed to go down that dirt road. Okay. So we're 7 miles from US 95 now, and 16 miles from Livingston South. And I think I'm going to stop jabbering now. We got 7.5 miles to go to get back to Livingston South. And I may or may not pick you up there. Depends on whether or not anything looks really different. So if I don't, as always, thanks so much for coming along for the ride. I really appreciate you taking your time to watch my videos. Hope you're having an amazing and fascinating day. Hope your Christmas holiday, if you celebrate that, was awesome. And if you don't celebrate it, I hope you had an awesome day. And we'll probably see you one more time before the new year. But that's all I've got for you right now. So we'll talk soon. Bye for now.